Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We have today an SLK, quite a nice looking SLK for an ABS fault, which we've already diagnosed to an ABS sensor, and we're also going to replace the pickup ring on it, and there's a reason behind that which I'll show you later on. And also we're replacing discs and pads all round, and we're replacing them not because they're worn out, for a different reason. So we will show you what we found and why we're doing that as well. So this is the car, 171 SLK. I'll jump out, I'll show you a quick look around the car, show you what parts we've got, all genuine parts, and then we will crack on. So here's the car we're doing. SLK with a Sport / AMG body kit on it. Looks pretty good. Here's all the parts replacing, all genuine stuff. Rear disc and pads, front disc and pads, ABS lead. We're going to replace the pickup ring, and I've got a back plate as well, which I'll show you why. Okay, so as you can see, all four wheels off. I don't know if you can see in there, but the pad is overlapping the disc. You see that? Try it from the other side. See there? So basically, the discs that are on it are too small. They should go further up to here. So that's why we're doing the rears. Fronts we are doing because customers complained about a grinding noise occasionally, and he's got 3 rust rings on the inside of his disc. So we're presuming that is the problem. As you can see from the outside, nice and clean, good condition. So inside, not so good. So fronts, grinding noise, rears are causing a squeaky noise, and it's because the pad is riding on the edge of the disc. Can you see how shiny that is there? Hopefully now I've took the pin out, you get a better look at the problem. As you can see there, the pad's stuck out, riding on the disc. Right, we've got the pads out and we've discovered a problem already. As you can see, that's where it's been riding on the disc because the disc isn't big enough. Sufficient lip there. On the inside pad, there's only really a score mark, and that is because, you might have seen me trying to free it off, the inside piston is seized. That's why this pad hasn't worn as much as this. So 10 minutes into the job and we've got a problem. We are going to potentially have to replace the caliper. I am just inspecting the caliper on the other side. All this is WD-40, by the way. And look at that, where a chunk of the caliper is missing, where the pin goes through. So that's not good. More problems. Okay, so we have got, I've took the full hub off with the disc. I know I said we were doing front disc and pads, however we've just hung fire because we don't know if the customer's got to still authorise the work or not now that we need rear calipers. So here is the reason we have an ABS light. The pickup ring is all corroded. So basically the ABS sensor sits pointing at that spins round and it picks up a signal. So we are going to change the ring and the sensor. They're both quite inexpensive parts, so I'm changing them together. There's no extra labour, it's kind of a while you're in there. And the reason we're putting a back plate on it is because that is the remains of the old one. So as you can see, that is the remains of the back plate. That did one day look like that. So I've gone from that to that. So while we're in there, we've got to put a new one in, get all this cleaned up, do a proper job of it. And that's where the ABS sensor comes through. So the reason we're changing that as well as the ring is, when I get it out, I'll show you, can see where it's all worn at the end, where rust has collected and it's been wearing away at the end of the sensor. So it's better to be safe, change both. Right, so as I explained before, the ABS, this spins round, ABS sensor picks a signal up from there. We're changing that because it's damaged and we're getting an incorrect signal. That is the new seal. We're going to pop that out, put that in. We'll put a new sensor on the car. I'll show you also why we're changing the sensor as well. A lot of people would just replace the ring, but we're going to do both because we don't want the car returning. You can see where a build-up of rust has been on the end and it's ground away the tip. So it's very precise how close that sits to the ring on the end. So if that's ground a bit away, we could still get an incorrect signal. Like I say, that's inexpensive, that's inexpensive. We're combining the labour as a whole. We're also doing this at the same time. Make sure everything's tip-top. We're waiting for authorization to fix the caliper issue because I don't want to do that job unless I've got authorization for calipers and hoses, because it won't be right and I'm not happy to do it. One ring out. Okay, so while we're changing the seal, I'm going to repack the bearings at the same time. I've got some genuine bearing grease from Merck's. I'm going to repack this one because this is a good opportunity to do so. It'll prolong the life of the bearing. I'll also do the front one that goes on the other side before we refit it. So basically, I'm just going to get a load out. I'm just going to roll it into the bearing. There's always plenty of grease inside your hub. That's not doing anything, by the way. So if you haven't got grease, dig some out and use it, because it's better than nothing. Put some on the outside. So now we need to get this in. Just going to put a bit of the grease off my hand on the edges, a bit on the inside of there. And I've got a 50mm socket to tap that in. And that's done. Right, okay, new pickup ring is in, bearings back in, fresh grease packed out. I'll say fresh. We've used some on the inside, some fresh. Just put a bit on the spindle. Slot this on carefully because we don't want to damage our new seal. I've already repacked this front bearing, so we will get that on. So the trick with tightening a bearing in, I say a trick, this is how I do it. I'm just spinning that round with it loose to get all the grease around it. I'm going to tighten it up by hand as much as I can without damaging anything. I'll then tighten that up, and then after road test I bring it back in and check for play again, because as it all seats back together you might need to adjust it again. Okay, so that's the hub caliper back on. We have got the ABS sensor left to change. It clips in behind this cover, so we need to get that off. Right, so you're probably wondering, why have I put the wheels back on? Well, the reason is the customer has declined the extra work, as in rear calipers, rear hoses, just because you change hoses with calipers, they're not expensive, and new pins. As you could see in the video, that passenger side rear caliper piston was seized. Driver side rear caliper was damaged, where the pin that holds the pads into the caliper, so that's pretty dangerous. You know, last thing I want is to take that pin out, more chunks of metal fall off, and then, you know, I'll be getting the finger pointed at me. I wasn't sure whether to post this video or not, because it's obviously not the ending that you'd expect, but this is what happens in a garage. You know, when you get an estimate for a job, you know, we can start working on your vehicle and we can find more things wrong with it, things that we didn't know was there. You know, it's not our fault, it's not your fault, you know, especially with older vehicles, this happens. Customer is actually a really nice guy. He's new to us, so it's probably not what he wanted to hear either. But, you know, we've got to do our job properly. It's unfortunate, but it's nearly Christmas time. You know, the bill was a couple of grand, you know, with the calipers included. It's just not feasible for him at this time. But like I say, he's actually a really nice fella, but, you know, I just can't do that job without doing the calipers and it being a successful repair that I can hand on heart say I'm happy with that to safely leave the garage. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, I wasn't going to post this, but I am, because it's real life. This is what goes on. They don't all come in and they all get fixed first time. You know, mistakes happen. You know, things go on. But I mean, the plus side is that his initial reason for coming to me was for his ABS issue. I presume he's been to a few places and no one can sort it, so we fixed that. New ABS sensor, new ABS ring, and we changed that back plate as a while you're in there job, because it had just deteriorated basically. So we're not doing front disc and pads either. We're not doing rears. So yeah, you know, we're going to lose out on some profit now because we've got to send those parts back, and there'll be a carriage fee for returning them. But yeah, it's the nature of the job. So not the ending we expected, probably not the ending you expected, but you know, we want to keep this channel real at the same time. We come across some strange things, but anyway, like and subscribe. Be interested to see what you all make of that in the comments, to be honest. It is Christmas time, so obviously I understand people are strapped for cash. But I think I've done the right thing. Yeah, like, subscribe, thumbs up, all that business. Hopefully we need to keep this channel growing because YouTube's a hard one to crack.